Inside the top six, and they both had to work very, very hard for it. Fernandez has started 12th, Guido Pini recovered 10 places after his 16th place on the grid in Q2. So we're not quite sure, we've not had any confirmation when the pit lane will be reopened for the quick restart procedure, which means pit lane will be reopened for 60 seconds, and the riders... Confirmation from within the race direction process that Scott Ogden's bike was still being recovered at the side of the racetrack. Winfield came back round again. Of course, Ogden was towards the back of the field, probably around about 50 seconds or so behind the leader, so they would have had around 60 seconds to clear that bike before the race leader Max Kilos came back around. Clearly that was not enough time. Pit lane then is going to open at 12:35. As you said, for 60 seconds the quick start procedure protocol will be enforced. It is just coming up to 12:30 local time here in Goiânia, so we're going to be back underway for the pit lane opening at 12:35. Race distance of 5 laps. That's going to fly by, isn't it? Around what is already a short 3.835 kilometre Autodromo International Ayrton Senna. Grid positions as of standings on lap 14. So Max Kilos is going to have to do all the hard work once again. He'll be on pole position, but was a commanding 4.133 second lead when the red flag came out. Has completely evaporated. We're going to be some banzais in this one when we get back underway in about 5 minutes' time. So much opportunity, and of course, a mistake in 5 laps of a Grand Prix can have such a huge consequence. There's not going to be the kind of time you'd normally back up again. So Kiles to the very front in next to no time at all. Now we'll go to the bike that is remaining. Unfortunately, Scott Ogden is heading to the medical centre for a check. The race interrupted just to ensure that Scott Ogden's crashed KTM could be recovered safely by the trackside marshals. And yeah, he's gone just to the medical centre for a precautionary checkup. We are being told that Scott is perfectly okay, just probably a little bit rattled, a little bit beaten up. It's going to be a fairly painful flight over to North America for a couple of our Moto3 riders. So there you can see 3.5 minutes away from the pit lane opening. Pit lane restart, or the quick restart procedure will be in effect. Well, David Almanza was dreaming of back-to-back victories to kick off 2026 was when he fell heavily at turn 4 out of the lead. Let's hope he's okay. Let's get some thoughts from Liquid Moly Donovan and Tap Jürgen in the chat.
Yeah, obvious frustration down here in the Liquid Moly Intact GP box. Heartbreak for David. Jürgen, did he explain what happened exactly?
No, I didn't talk to him yet. I just hindsight. Of course, he was pushing to the limit because Maximo, he knows he's behind him and he felt very good. So he was pushing, and finally this can happen. And I think also it's also a consequence of not enough track experience. It's quite difficult for everyone, but he did so far very well and he felt good, but these things can happen. He was on the limit.
We could see his emotion afterwards. How important is your job now to tell him he was there once again, both Max and him, and managed to break away, and the season is still very long?
Of course, I think he will understand after a few hours. I think we can talk to him and he will understand, and fortunately next week we continue in this. So it's better to continue immediately as have a big break after, but I think he will be okay next week.
Thanks, Jürgen, appreciate it. And just whilst I've got you as well, guys, had a quick word with some of the Pirelli technicians. Similar situation to what we had after the Moto2 red flag back in Thailand. The vast majority of the grid, given that it's a 5-lap dash, are, if they have one in their allocation, occasion swapping to the soft rear tyre, a brand new soft rear tyre. Max Keeles in particular, 100%, he will have a brand new soft into his machine. I'll try and keep an eye to check of the main contenders who else has got a brand new soft, but it seems as though the vast majority of grid will do that.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jack. The Moto3 team has probably been helped a little bit by the inclement weather here on Friday, where there was not a lot of slick tyre running. Didn't get through much of their allocation. So Max Keeles gets to do all the hard work over again, 80 seconds away from the pit lane opening. Good to hear from Jürgen and good to hear him come and talk to Jack there, just to offer his thoughts on David Aman's crash. And he's back on the money when you are pushing on the absolute limit, when you're on the ragged edge at this level of World Championship motorcycle racing. Mistakes can happen. You can get caught out. It has happened to the very best. It'll happen to David Almanza again. But as Jürgen Link said, he doesn't have to doesn't have too long to stew on it. Doesn't have too long to dwell on it. He'll be back in action, of course, in 5 days' time at the Circuit of the Americas, not in Texas, where he can right the wrongs of today.
Max Keeles trying to keep cool in that spar box. He's got 40 seconds ready to jump on that bike and get back out again. This is the Leopard Honda. We've got a brand new rear tyre on Fernandez's Honda. We just saw it disappear on a shot. He and Alvaro Carpe, who starts second and fourth, of course, were in qualifying one yesterday evening. So if anyone doesn't have a new tyre, they're perhaps the likeliest candidates for that. But of course, as Matt rightly mentioned, we were short on dry running on Friday morning. They did the entire first session of the weekend on wet tyres. So I would imagine the vast majority, if not all the field, will have new rubber available to them. And it will be, as Jack rightly says, soft rubber. Just a 5-lap restart. Very good use of experience there for Jorge Martinez Aspar, just taking that moment before the pit lane open just to calm Max Keeles down and remind him of his responsibilities and remind him what's ahead of him. That's Jorge Martinez Aspar is now in pit lane, Jack.
Yes, he is indeed. Jorge, you just had the chance to speak with Max just before he went out. What did you say to him?
The problem is before was more than 4 seconds distance, but now it's only 5 laps. Soft tire is, I think it's very complicated now. But anyway, it's a very good race for sure.
When he left then, did you tell him be calm in the 5 laps?
Yeah. With the problem, this track is very particular. It's more hard and braking is more slow. It's made necessary very smooth for the many continued corner. No, as I speak, please, karma.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks to Jorge Martinez Aspar. I tell you what, good luck, Jorge, trying to tell a Moto3 rider to approach any Grand Prix calm, let alone what is now a 5-lap dash. This is going to be one of the shortest Moto3 Grand Prix, one of the shortest Grand Prix we've ever had in history. Here's your grid then. Keeles, Fernandez, Bronek is your front race. The standings as it was at the end of lap 14. Carpe, Salmela and Pini on the second row of the grid. Morelli, Uriarte, Danish on row 3. Of course, Hakim Danish did initially start the Grand Prix on the front row. Batama, Kelso and O'Gorman are your fourth row. Further down, we've got Eddie O'Shea in row 5, Ed Matani and Cruzes. Vitaly Yamanaka-Mooley will go from row 6. Buchanan, Carrara and Rios from the 7th row. We are, of course, missing the pole starter from the initial start, Joel Esteban, after he crashed out of 3rd place at turn 4. No, David Almanza, who done so brilliantly to work his way through from 14th on the grid to lead ahead of Max Keeles. We deny what looked like being another epic showdown between those two after Almanza crashed out of the lead at turn 4. And then Scott Ogden also not restarting after he fell out of contention. And of course, while the marshals were given time to safely recover his bike, that was the reason why we have the red flags. And that's the reason why now what was scheduled to be a 24-lap Grand Prix of Brazil, well, in every... It's a sprint.
Yeah, we're with you, Jorge. Jorge Martinez Aspar, very nervous. Nico Goyon from Tech 3. Leopard look on. They've each got a rider represented on the front row of the grid. Keeles, Fernandez and Perrone. There is some enormous incentive on what is a very short race. And who's going to perhaps carry the ambition and who is going to keep their heads in the 5-lap race, which is now about to get underway. Warm-up lap now underway.
This is basically Q2 meets the Grand Prix, isn't it, really? It's just like, Joel Esteban in qualifying 2 yesterday, he did 10 laps. He did twice the distance to get pole position yesterday. And what these riders are going to have to face here for World Championship points. So, for the second time of asking, they're on the warm-up lap. We have now 21 riders lining up for this restart. Quiles will be on pole position. Just got to put that frustration, block it out of his mind, having been 4.1 seconds clear of the pack. I mean, he was absolutely nailed on, wasn't he? You felt for that fourth Grand Prix success. It was just all about him managing his own levels of focus and concentration. Well, there was a big fight building behind him for second at that stage, which involved the likes of Fernandez, Perone, Carpe. Salmana was really catching the eye. He looked really good. Salmana, the Finn who started the initial Grand Prix ninth in this region, go from fifth. And there were some riders in this battle who are going to feel like they've nothing really to lose. Perhaps don't consider themselves as serious title contenders. Maybe willing to throw a little bit more caution to the wind than some of our established stars go for broke. 5 laps around this 3.835 kilometre Goiânia circuit. The riders then coming back on the starters' orders once again on this revised grid. Pole position that initially went to Joel Esteban. He's not in this restart. Now on pole position is the 28 bike of Max Quiles. Andrew Fernandez slots into second place. That's 10 places higher up than, well, both Quiles and Fernandez have moved up 10 places compared to where they initially started this Grand Prix. First and second from 11th and 12th respectively. Perone, well, he's actually dropped back 1 place, still on the front row, but second down to third. So here we go then here in Goiânia, Moto3 take 2. We're racing once again here in Brazil in Moto3. Max Quiles has made a brilliant start from that surprise pole position here as they make this long run down to the first corner. Trying to pick up some strips behind him goes Andrew Fernandez. It's Perone in third place. Morelli who had a good start in the first running of this Grand Prix, going a long way around the first corner, but Quiles has absolutely nailed this first split.
Morelli was 7th on the grid for the restart. He's already gained a couple as Quiles looks to try and pick up exactly where he left off around about 15 minutes ago. That looks like Salmella and Perone trying to barrel up the inside. Perone takes a very brief second place. We've got a pile up further back with what looks like Rios and Bertelli.
It is, and Matteo Bertelli had a right whack on the head there. Matteo Bertelli, as they went through turn 4, yours kind of felt was inevitable as ever. He's hungry to make up early places in this 5-lap sprint here. Quiles sprinting away at the front of it as well as he runs wide through the blue paintwork there. No track limits problem there for Quiles.
Yeah, he's just getting his head down there and just pulling away at the front of the field again. That's a big move up the inside there, but what looks like Pratama trying to make up some early ground. So the top 2 unchanged. Carpe now holds third. Pini's made some big progress. He's up 2 spots.
Quiles does not want this to be a big battle, does he? He's just go, I'm out of here, guys. I'm checking out. I don't want to be involved in any kind of late shenanigans. I'm just head down, full gas here, and just trying to put a bit of daylight between himself and the chasing pack. Here we go then. We're just about to tick off this first of 5 in this shortened Grand Prix of Brazil. The incident between Rios and Bertelli will be looked at after this short Grand Prix. Quiles then almost half a second clear Fernandez as we start lap 2.
Yeah, it looks like Carpe's the one with the pace here in this chase group. Carpe straight through into second place. Salmella was trying to make a move on Pini there. Look at that. Fernandez never likely to be pushed around, is he? This is all playing into the hands though of Quiles.
You've got no time to build up any kind of rhythm here. Have you built up any kind of pace? You've just got to get your head down and go. Through 4 we go. Quiles still 4/10 of a second. He is clear of Fernandez. He's built up that nice little buffer here. What Quiles needs behind him is this little battle to really start to tough it out. Carpe darts through the inside line on Fernandez. Bit of payback there as they go through 5 and 6.
Carpe clearly feels that he's got the pace to at least get after Quiles. Let's have a look further back. We're looking for the yellow snipers Honda of Rios. He's on the inside there and straight up the inside and scooping up Matteo Bertelli. I think the stewards will be looking particularly in Jesus' direction for that one.
Matteo Bertelli, who this time last year, of course, was celebrating his very first career podium over in Austin, and then he had a career-threatening leg injury and a training accident. Nightmare year for Bertelli. Here is Quiles then. There's now a huge daylight between himself and the chasing pack. He's not going to let this victory slip away this time around, is he, Max Quiles? Last lap heartache for him over in Buram a couple of weeks ago, but over the line now, he's 0.8 of a second clear of Fernandez. Fastest one on the circuit though is Aspar 0.252, and Morelli on the inside of 4 or 5. Absolutely awesome that by Morelli, using all the top speed of that KTM in the slipstream. He has gone into, well, he came on the line in 5th, he's now 2nd.
Fernandez gobbled up. He dropped back to 5th as a result of that. It's the left under Pini, who's next along as Carpe back up the inside. Salmela also handing out further punishment to Adrian Fernandez, who's now 6th.
This has been class, this by Keyless. Just made sure for pole position, he nailed the start. It was a perfect launch away by Keyless, and now he can just run his pace, run his braking markers, run his own lines. Doesn't got to worry about anybody dive bombing on the inside. There's no threat of a slipstream behind him down the long start finish straight. At the moment, tactically, this has been a masterclass by Keyless.
We saw before the start got underway, Jorge Martinez Aspar looking to a higher power for some support. He's getting it at the moment with 1 and 2, and Morelli is charging off after his teammate here with, essentially we're a half distance. It's come down by a 10th and a half on this lap. It's now 6/10 between the Aspar team, and you can see visibly Morelli's bolted away from this chase group and off towards his teammate.
Said pre-race that this was a window opportunity, a big opportunity for some riders to create some big headlines for themselves in this round 2 in Brazil. Over the line we go. 26.3 from Morelli in 2nd place, was 4/10 faster than Keyless ahead of him. It couldn't.
This is not over at the moment, far from it, as Pratama now getting involved. That's the battle of the rookies for 5th. He's through on Rico Salmela, just put up ahead of them, Pini and Carpe, they're 4th and 3rd. What can Mark really do? Of course, not a lot of time to try and close that down. We've got a lap and 3/4 remaining. The advantage is half a second.
Pratama aggressive on the inside of Pini. That was real hard. He just lifted up Pini as they went through turn 4, and Pini dropped behind Carpe as well there. So Pratama back up into P4. This is where he started the Grand Prix. What feels like an awful long time ago now, but he really did pick up Pini there.
Real opportunity for a podium here. We can get on terms with Carpe just up ahead of him. Fernandez back in 8th place now. Peroni's also not got the best of this shorter restart. Peroni's back in 7th.
Yeah, just lacking confidence on that fresh rear Pirelli tyre. Pini gives a bit of payback immediately to Carpe. That was a hard move as they went through 10 and 11. Now down this sort of short straight, down the brakes in the 13. Now it's just all about the drive that you get out of this final corner. And Morelli is closing in here on Keyless. You can just see the Aspar duo move out of your picture now. We picked them up out of this final turn. It's Keyless then who will come over the line ahead of Morelli. We are on the last lap here of this 5-lap sprint. Keyless is trying to respond to him. He's just on a 1:26.589. His best lap for the Grand Prix, but he was still 2/10 slower than Morelli behind him.
Oh, you can see how hard Keyless is pushing as well. He had a bit of movement on the front end there into the first corner. Yellow flags are out there at turn 1, but Keyless wasn't exactly under any pressure anyway. But has he got enough time here? And because it's such a short lap, has Morelli got the option on this final lap to catch Keyless and then pass him?
And here is Pratama, who made this brilliant aggressive move on the last lap. Oh, block pass on Carpe going through 4. We might be on course for history here. Never has an Indonesian rider at any level finished on a World Championship podium. History beckoning for the 17-year-old Vader Pratama.
And Morelli is right with Keyless too as they went through 6. So Marco Morelli, of course, the finish line is about halfway down the main straight. We know how quick Morelli is on Aspar by. Can he slipstream his teammate meters from what seemed like a certain victory?
Well, this is a dream situation as far as the Aspar team are concerned. But Morelli is starting to smell blood here, isn't he? Morelli on course to pull off what would be a big shock at one stage in this Grand Prix. Keyless looks at the big screen there on his right-hand side as they go down through towards turn 13. He was 0.8 of a second clear. Is he going to hold on and get it over the line? We're into the final 2 corners now. Keyless, all he has to do is pick up the front at the perfect moment, get the drive given. Surely he will hold on over the line again. We're really trying to get off some slipstream. He's going to run out of time. Max Keyless wins a 5-lap sprint in Moto 3 here in Brazil. And we do have history. Back straight. He is going to be absolutely buzzing. He spoke to Jack, didn't he, before the start of the initial running of the Grand Prix. And I have to say, he did sound very confident in his prospects in that Grand Prix. There's nothing quite like the feeling of scoring your first ever podium, but there's nothing quite the feeling. It is that extra cherry on top of the cake to be your country's first ever Grand Prix podium finisher. I'm sure right now, over throughout the whole of Indonesia, they're going completely crazy as Vader Pitama is the first Indonesian to win or to score a World Championship podium. The first of many, I'm sure. Let's go get the thoughts of Honda Team Major Boss, Hiroshi Yaya.
Hiroshi, what an unbelievable performance by Vader. Only his second Grand Prix, the first ever Indonesian on a Grand Prix podium. This is quite the moment.
Well, he did quite well. He was quite calm in the race. You know, only 5 laps race could happen everything, but I think he put everything under control. He take all the chances. So he started from 10th position to finish third in these 5 laps. It's incredible. Nice race.
How big of a talent is Vader?
Wow, easy to see. He has quite a big talent. Also, his mind is quite good way. So we are very happy about his position.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Something here, he sings that in part. 1-2 for Aspar, the first podium for Vader Pitama. Thanks very much, Jack. Thanks to Honda Team Major Boss, Hiroshi Yama. Pitama's 5th place in Buran was the best ever result in a Grand Prix by an Indonesian rider, which is getting better and better and better. Who knows what lies in store for Pitama? But quite clearly, I mean, this young kid is some talent, a proven race-winning talent in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup, Asia Talent Cup champion in 2023. He ran right that year with 9 victories, another product of the brilliant Asia Talent Cup Road to MotoGP feeder system. Of course, we saw Ayagura a couple of years ago. He's become the first ATC champion to win the Grand Prix World Championship. Well, the ATC has unearthed yet another gem, hasn't it? Vader Pitama, what a day for Southeast Asia. Tell him where you can. Hakim Danish, of course, the Malaysian starts with this on the front row grid. Now, Vader Pitama, the Indonesian, his first World Championship podium in just his second Grand Prix start. One to watch, folks, for the future.
It's Morelli, of course, who takes second in the championship. He finished up ahead of Pitama. He will give a shot to Pat at the moment. Will Vader, he will just be enjoying his first visit to the Grand Prix podium, the first of visits to a Grand Prix podium. He is the real deal, no mistake about that, as is Max Quiles, congratulated by the MotoGP World Champion Marc Marquez. There was a reason so many picked Max Quiles as the runaway World Championship favourite. We will never know ultimately whether he would have beaten David Almanza this afternoon had Almanza kept running, but that's the name of the game. Almanza crashed while under that intense pressure and denied him the opportunity to restart, and Max Quiles took full advantage.
Yeah, and Quiles will feel like justice has been served. When the red flag came out after the Scott Ogden crash, he was 4.1 seconds clear of anybody else on circuit. Mario Aggi, ahead of the Moto2 race, congratulating Vader Pitama. Well, this is so sweet. The first ever Indonesian rider on a Grand Prix podium. Vader Pitama with Jack.
Vader, what a ride. In only your second Grand Prix, you are onto the podium and you become the first rider from Indonesia to ever do it. How much does this mean?
I don't know, incredible. Today, yes, I did a really good job. Even before the red flag, I struggled in the race to manage the rear tire, but yeah, finally I finished top 3 in my second Grand Prix, and it was my biggest achievement right now. So yeah, for sure, I want to say thank you so much for all the Indonesian people and all the Indonesian people and all the sponsor, my family who was in Indonesia, and yeah, thank you very much. It's incredible.
Huge congratulations. Thank you.
There are millions and millions of MotoGP fans right now watching that special moment in Grand Prix history. This was the key move. He made a couple of really hard moves into that turn 4. That was on Carpe late on. And at backstage, Vader Pitama was dreaming of the podium, but he's proved that dreams do come true. Honda Team Asia celebrating moments of Grand Prix history. Marco Morelli on the podium in second place. But I once said he was going to hunt down Max Quiles to win. Let's get the thoughts of Morelli with Jack.
Marco, what a performance that was. That 5-lap dash was right up your street. I'm sure you were praying that actually it was 6 laps because your pace was phenomenal. Where did that come from to catch Max like you did?
Yeah, well, we did a fantastic job during all the weekend. We felt quite well with the bike, and in the FP2 we worked a lot this, no? So the feeling was good, but the problem is
when we start the first race, let's say, I was not feeling well on the back. I lose the grip in the second lap already, and was super difficult to manage, no? But to be honest, was a bit of luck. Had the red flag for me, and we put the new tire on the back, and was completely different. And this was the pace I had during the weekend, no? Obviously, I pushed not 100%, maybe 200%, because have a maximum in front was super difficult to catch. I did it, but it's not only catch, it's also pass. And to be honest, he's a fantastic rider, so he put the race so difficult. But first podium, I'm super happy also for the Argentinian flag here close to the country, and yeah, I'm super happy, and thank you for all the team. Brilliant ride, congratulations. Thank you.
Indonesian fans are thrilled with Beta Pratama. Argentina fans here in South America are going to be delighted with Marco Morelli's performance. He was not even a tenth and a half away from being the first Argentinian in history to win a lightweight World Championship race. You feel, based on that performance, his time will certainly come. But Marc Marquez knows just how good that performance was by Max Quiles to keep his cool, keep his composure in that 5-lap sprint from pole position, putting behind the disappointments of the red flag, which cost him a 4.1 second lead. He's back on the top step of the podium once again. His first win of 2026. Max Quiles, your winner with Jack.
Max, huge congratulations. The first win of 2026, bouncing back from Thailand. I'm sure you were bitterly frustrated to see the red flag. So how did you regain your concentration, and how did you hold off your teammate who was charging up towards you in those final laps?
Yeah, I was because of the red flag, but hopefully everybody was okay. So yeah, I said I'm going to try to push that. I felt really good behind Almanza, and yeah, that's what I did from the beginning. I pushed as hard as I can. I did some greens to gain some speed, you know, and it was great. You know, I'm really happy for Marco that it's his first podium as well for Vela, a really good friend of me for the first podium. I'm so happy. Yeah. Samba do Brasil. Congratulations. Thank you.
Nggak mungkin nomor 3.
Some celebrations, I'm sure, coming from our race winner, Max Quiles. And like you said there, he's such a gent, isn't he? Such a sportsman, offering his congratulations to debut podium finishers for Morelli and Pratama. He knows the emotions that those two are going through right now, having secured his first podium in the World Championship last year. He was riding brilliantly, as I said. He felt comfortable, he felt okay, felt good in the groove in that initial run behind Almanza. Whatever Jorge Martinez Aspar's instructions were to both Quiles and Morelli before that 5-lap dash, well, there were some words of wisdom, weren't they, from the boss as they celebrate 1-2 for CF Moto Gaviota Aspar.
For his squad so far, hasn't it? They are 1 and 2 on the grid for the upcoming Moto 2 Battle 2 and 1-2 in the end of Moto 3.
Just as it was over in Thailand, it's a golf buggy trip back to the podium. Guido Pini. He's had a very productive Sunday, a very productive day on the Leopard Honda after yesterday's 16th place on the grid in qualifying. A couple of big old crashes as well this weekend for Pini. He comes out of it with a 5th place. He was only just over a tenth of a second actually behind Pratama. Pratama actually was really hanging on at the end for that podium. There was Carpe, there was Pini, there was Salmella that were right in the hunt behind him. Right in that top 6. Pini 5th, Salmella's first top 6. Good weekend, a very solid weekend for the Finnish rider. Max Quiles is part of the Alex Marquez stable, which tells you everything you need to know about the talents of that young man. 18 years of age, a crash at turn 6 in Q2, a red flag when he was 4.1 seconds clear of the field. Nothing though seems to knock Quiles out of his stride, out of his focus, as he takes victory. Our first Grand Prix winner in Brazil in 22 years. Special emotions are welcoming from Honda Team Asia, and a very special podium indeed, given the historic significance of it.
Jorge Martinez Aspar wants to take
every moment of this with both of his young talents alongside him on the podium. Third place. Get used to this feeling, Vader. You're going to be doing this a lot in your Grand Prix career. A first podium for Indonesia. Pratama. Second for Argentina and Aspar is Marco Morelli. So close there, wasn't he? To mugging his teammate on the line, but nothing was going to deny Max Quiles today. All sorts thrown at him. The alternative pace of David Almanza. The red flag, which brought his 4-second runaway lead to a screeching halt. But despite all of that, he stood tall. Fernando Menezes, the marketing manager of our event sponsors, Estrella Galicia, says that he got the prize. It had to be Jorge Martinez Spa today. It has been the perfect Sunday so far for him. We were 2 qualifying earlier on this morning, going the way of his 2 riders. 3 stars, triumphant in the short 5-lap scrap. Must this field a young Vader Pratama, just 17 years of age. We already said that he was the most talented rider to emerge from Indonesia, a MotoGP mad nation, and now he has a podium finish to back up all of the talent and all of the promise. As does Marco Morelli, who of course was a runner-up last year in the Junior World Championship. He's now second in the Moto3 World Championship after P2 today. So many expected Max Quiles to dominate this Moto3 season. He's a long way from doing that. We're just at round 2, but certainly a statement of intent for Quiles. He put the pressure on Almanza. He then cracked, and he withstood the pressure from his teammate Marco Morelli to take a first victory of 2026.
Indonesia berkenan dan yang diambil kemenangannya yang podium pertama langsung yang Indonesia sama nomor 2 enggak itu sih, tapi kita cukup sama bendera Indonesia ada di tahun atas nomor 3.
Takes his opening win of the 2026 Moto3 World Championship. A very dramatic day to get the Grand Prix of Brazil underway here as Jorge Martinez Aspar gets a Prosecco shower from his 2 riders on the podium. A memorable day for the Valencia-based team as Quiles takes the win in a Grand Prix which will go down in the record books as a 5-lapper which had a race-winning time of just 7 minutes. 19.8 seconds. Max Quiles won't care, and neither will Vader Pratama or Marco Morelli. Vader Pratama on the podium in just the second Grand Prix. Not got your ticket for Mandalika yet? You might want to hurry up and get one, based on what we've just seen here in Brazil today, because they have been craving for so many years to have one of their own, challenging for honours in the Grand Prix paddock. Of course, we have to pay testament to the Asia Talent Cup system, the Road to MotoGP programme, which has helped pretty much every rider in the current Moto3 World Championship get into this position where they can showcase their skills on the biggest stage of all. And Vader Pratama, Marco Morelli and Max Quiles are taking full advantage. Quiles, your winner here in Brazil.
Lovely petitions for the Moto3 race on last in Lombard, won't there? He'll be taking top billing there. Vader Pratama on the podium behind an Aspar 1-2. Quiles from Morelli. Pratama, a historic first podium in third ahead of Alvaro Mauro Carpe, who was denied on the final lap. Pini fifth ahead of Rico Salmella. Shout out for him in just his second Grand Prix, taking sixth ahead of his teammate Valentin Peroni, who went back to seventh with the front row. Fernandez eighth from O'Gorman and Danish. Uriarte 11th out of Kelso Truso, Yamanaka, and another World Championship point. Second Grand Prix now for Eddie O'Shea. 18 finishers, of course, 4 of those did not restart. Esteban and, of course, notably Almanza crashed before the restart. Max Keeler, though, now leading the World Championship as a result of that 45. Already 17 clear of his teammate Marco Morelli. Rafana up to third. Carpe stays fourth. Of course, Pete Fox Almanza, who drops 4 places today, having crashed up from the lead. Peroni also dropped down the order. He's now sixth.
Satu bidangnya suka dapat poin, tapi dia nomor 13
KTM, of course, leading the constructor standings by 23 points. Neda Fatama, of course, has been top Honda in both Grand Prix so far. And in the team standings, CF Moto Aspar with a 33-point cushion over Red Bull, KTM IO. Dynavolt dropped 3 places today, having not scored from their one rider who travelled here to Brazil.
Nomor pertama tim standingnya Red Bull-nya Adu, nomor 2 Red Bull KTM, nomor 3 Honda tim Asia nomor 6 masih kalah sama Toyota yang sama-sama Honda. Gitu. Yang paling terakhir itu Sedan MCU.
Let's have some highlights. Of course, this was the first start of this Brazilian Grand Prix. Before we had to call halt to proceedings. Joel Esteban goes from a maiden pole position in the Moto3 class.